Good morning, Bath Church kids. Welcome to Sunday School. I'm really glad you were able to join us today. So today I want to open by having you think about a time when you looked up at the sky on a clear night at night and were able to see the stars. All right, so think back on a time when you were in that moment when you had the opportunity to do that. All right, we love to go camping in our family, so we do that a lot, and it's one of my favorite things to do when we're camping. But what I want you to think about is what it looks like. What do you see when you look up at night like that? So you obviously see stars. Have you guys ever tried to count them? You can't. It's way too hard. Have you guys ever seen a shooting star? I've seen a couple shooting stars. They're always really exciting to see because you have to be looking in the exact right place at the exact right time or else you miss it. So they're really special. Let's see, what else can you see? You can see the moon. Sometimes it's a sliver, sometimes it's huge. Usually if it's super big, you won't see very many stars because it's too bright. So I like when it's a sliver. One of my other favorite things to see when I look up at night is a satellite. You can catch them. They look just like a little star, but they move ever so slightly right across your field of vision, and they're really fun to see. What else? If you know about stars and planets and things, you probably can pick out planets. I think maybe I can see Mars. That's a pretty good one because it's really big and bright. I'm not sure if you can see other ones, or even if you could, I don't know where you'd look, but maybe you do. So I wanted to get you thinking about a time when you had the opportunity to look up at the sky at night, because the story we're going to learn about today from the Bible, God actually asks someone that he cares about and loves to look up at the sky. Okay, so we'll learn more about that story in a little bit. Ginger's going to talk about it. But I want you thinking about a time when you did the same thing when we talk about that story in a bit. So before we do pass this off to Ginger, I want to give you a quick quiz to think about during Sunday school today. And it's only 5 questions. I won't be grading them. It's just for fun. But it's just a fun quiz about stuff in the sky and see how much you know about it. So I sent these questions and their potential answers in an email to your parents later this week, probably on Friday. So hopefully they have them so you can use them to look at right now when I'm talking. If not, I'll just read them quickly now so you can have the ability to try and come up with the answers. All right, so the first one is, are you ready? Question number 1. Stars are usually between the ages of 100 to 300 billion years old, 1 to 10 billion years old, 1 to 10 million years old, or 5 to 10,000 years old. Okay, that's question 1. All right, question 2 is a true or false. The sun is a planet. True or false? All right, the next question, how many galaxies are believed to be in the universe? Okay, how many galaxies? 3,000, 100,000, 100 million, or 100 billion? Okay, that's a tough one. All right, question number 4, here we go. How many stars are estimated to be in the Milky Way galaxy? 1,000 to 3,000, 40 to 60,000, 100 to 400,000, or 500 to 800,000. Okay? All right, last question. The sun is the nearest star to the earth. True or false? The sun is the nearest star to the earth. True or false? All right, so I will give you the answers later. When we're doing our activity, I will give you the answers to those. So think about that. And like I said, I sent these in an email with some coloring stuff for you also, so you can look at them that way too. All right, so keep thinking of that. Keep thinking about looking up at that sky at night. And I'm going to pass this over to Ginger, and she is going to read you a really great story. All right, here you go, Ginger.
Good morning, Bath Sunday School. It's great to see you. Thank you so much, Leah, for introducing us and gathering us together. At the end of the video, we'll give you those answers to the quiz that you did. So before I tell you about the story, I want to ask you to think about some things. Have you ever had to leave something or somewhere or someone that you loved? How did it make you feel? And then if you did have to go somewhere, like, have you ever moved? Did you find out that the people you loved didn't change just because you moved? It's hard to think about sometimes. Or maybe that's something you're worried about now, that you have to move and you're worried about moving away from friends and family and that sort of thing. But I'll tell you, I've moved quite a few times in my life. And what's been amazing is mostly my friends have stayed the same. And for sure, my family has still been there for me. So that's just a little reassurance in this story. So this story is about Abram and Sarai. Now you may be thinking to yourself, I have heard those names before. They sound a little bit like Abraham and Sarah. Well, later, Abram and Sarai do become Abraham and Sarah. So that's a story for another day, but just keep that in your mind. So this is the scripture we're talking about today. Genesis 12, 1 through 3, Genesis 15, 1 and 5 through 6. So this is how it goes. God said to Abram, leave this place, your land. Leave these people, your family and friends. Leave the house where you grow up and follow me somewhere new. I'll show you the place. From you a great nation will come, and I will bless you. Your name will be known. You'll be a blessing. And whoever helps you flourish, I'll do the same for them. And if anyone curses you, they're cursed. Everyone all over the earth will be blessed through you. Later in a vision, Abram heard God promising him, don't be afraid, Abram. I'm your shield, your protector. Good things are coming your way. Then God invited Abram outside and told him, look up. Look at all the stars in the sky. Count them. Can you do it? And God said, Abram, your family will be as many as the stars. Abram trusted in God's promise, and God recognized Abram's goodness. So think about that. Think about looking up at the sky. I know Leah talked about that too. There are so many stars. And God promised him, not only are you going to have more children than stars, but I'm going to give you everything. Your family is going to be huge, uncountable, right? We know we can't count the stars. So imagine if God said to you, I'm going to give you so many blessings you can't count them. I love that thought. There's a great song called Count Your Blessings. Look it up with your folks. It'll be a fun one for you to see. You could probably Google a YouTube video of it. But maybe that's where that story got its, or that song got its idea, was from Abram and counting your blessings. It'd be hard, right? So I know we talked a little bit about how we would feel if we had to move away from our folks. And that's a little hard to think about. One of the ways you can look back on this story is in the packet that you got story cards. So you could color those and then you could put them back together and sort of retell the story to yourself. I love doing that with my kids. It's one of my favorites. And what was your favorite part of the story? For me, it was Abram looking up at the sky and looking at the stars. That's one of my favorite things to do right now. So, and have you ever thought about this? That maybe what God was saying is we're all part of one big family? That Abram's life was going to look out over the whole world and be a blessing to every single person in it? And then that all of those people are part of that big family? That's kind of what it makes me think about. So I want you to think about, as Leah tells you about this lesson, I want you to think about how you can join into God's work of blessing all people, no matter what. That's a big thing to think about. All right, I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Here's Leah.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you for sharing that scripture with us. So we're going to do an activity today that is based around the story of Abram and Sarai. Um, I think their story kind of reminds us all that we are all kind of connected, and we're connected to each other, and we're also connected, with God. So today we're actually going to make a prayer chain. Well, it's not a prayer chain. It's more like what do we want to call it? Maybe like a bless someone chain. All right. So you guys have kind of probably done these little link chains before, maybe till the last day of school, and the last month you take off a link every day until it's the last day of school and they're all gone. Sometimes we do them maybe before your birthday. It's kind of like a little countdown thing. Well, today we're going to build one. We're actually going to make it really, really as big as we can make it, because each one of these links is going to be some way in which we can bless somebody else. Okay? So I try to come up with some ideas and suggestions of things to kind of get you started, of ways that you can bless other people around you. Now, I know you're not around a lot of people right now. You're mostly at home with your family, but those are the best people to bless. Best people to bless is your family. Okay? Start with them. So some of the things that we could do is you could write a little note. Okay? And this actually could go for people that you aren't living with. You could send a note off in the mail just saying, I'm thinking of you. You're special. Anything, kind of words of encouragement if they're alone right now. So that's a really, really fun way to bless somebody. Other things you could do is you could just give somebody a hug. Okay? Like when your mom first wakes up in the morning and she hasn't had her coffee yet, maybe a nice big hug. That would be a good time. You could teach somebody something. All right? So if you know how to do something, or you could teach a sibling how to draw something you're really good at, or teach somebody how you built something really cool with Legos, or you could teach somebody something that you know how to do on your iPad, or play a game. Sharing knowledge is a great way to be a blessing in your home right now. You could give somebody just some words of encouragement. You could go outside if you have somewhere in your yard, maybe some little flowers you could pick. Micah picked some flowers the other day in our yard and brought them inside, and it was so great. I put them in a little vase, and we enjoyed them while we had dinner at our table for the next a week almost. They were really, really pretty. So that was a great blessing. You could bake something for somebody, maybe just help your mom or dad make dinner, or you could bake some cookies for a neighbor or a friend. So those are just little ways that you could be a blessing to those around you. Okay, but there are a million things that you could come up with, and I'm hoping you and your families can come up with some other ones. All right, so what you want to do is you want to make some links of paper. It doesn't have to be colored. It can be white, it doesn't matter what kind of paper. My links are all different sizes. This blue one's really kind of long, and so it's huge, and then this one's really fat and little, so it doesn't really matter. I just kind of used some scraps that we had and just cut them up, and I have like a big stack here of all of them, and I'm starting to write blessings on them. Okay, so I have 3 right here. This one I just wrote, share a smile. So you can honestly, just a smile goes a long way. I think we've all felt that, how it makes us feel to have somebody smile at us. All right, so when I have something written, I'm going to loop it around here, add it to my chain, and I'm going to use a little stapler. Could also use tape. Okay, doesn't really matter. Another one I have is really listen. Okay, so I feel like this is a good one, and this is something we should be practicing every day, where when you ask a question, you actually really listen. Okay, you actually care about the answer. I think that's important. So maybe ask somebody how their day is going, and really hear them, really listen to what they're saying. So I'm going to add that one to my blessing chain. All right, so I have chain working. Okay, I'm going to try and add some more on it. And what I want you to do is see how long you can get your chain. All right, see how many things you can come up with. And then maybe each day you could pull one off and read it and bless somebody with that blessing for that day. All right. So this is a really fun activity. If you want to share some of your ideas with me or Ginger, some of the blessings that you came up with, you can share us a photo or a video of you actually doing the blessing with somebody, or for somebody. Any way that you want to share would be awesome. We would love to see it. All right. So thank you. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And I am actually going to pass it off now to Ginger to help us close in prayer. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
Well, thanks, Leah. I hope you guys are excited about making that chain of blessings and how you can bless people. I love that idea, and I love that that's a way that we can think about this story is how can we be a part of that big blessing. So at the very beginning, Leah did a little quiz from you, so I'm going to walk you through and give you some answers. Stars are usually between the ages of 1 to 10 billion years old. Make sure I answer all the right questions. All right. Is the sun a planet? Nope. It's a star. How many galaxies are believed to be in the universe? Think about this. 100 billion. That's a lot. So every one of those galaxies is like our galaxy and has more stars than you could possibly count. That's an amazing thing to think about. So thinking of that, how many stars are estimated to be in our Milky Way galaxy? 100 to 400,000. And the sun is the nearest star to the earth. True or false? True. The earth is attracted to the sun, and that's why we spin around, is because the sun's gravity pulls us into orbit. I love those questions. It helps us think about what Abram must have been looking at when he looked up at the sky. It's pretty amazing. Well, I am glad to see you today. Don't forget to send us pictures or videos of you guys making your blessing chains, telling us about them. We love to have them, and we love to share them with people. I love seeing your faces in the Lord's Prayer last week. It really just made Easter so special. So thank you for that. Remember, you can email those things to either Leah or I, or you can always email them to social@bathucc.org if you can't find our email addresses. Okay? So why don't you join me in a closing prayer? Dear God, thank you for the story of Abram and Sarai and how they followed you by giving themselves and being brave. Help us to listen and learn what you meant for our lives, just like they did. And give us courage to trust you, like Abram and Sarai, so we can be blessings to each other too. Amen. It was great to see you. I'll see you guys next week. Okay? Bye.